Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome to the first ever icon swaps, and today's going to be a little bit longer of a video as there's a ton of things to discuss with icon swaps. If you guys enjoyed the video today, drop a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below what icon you guys are planning on getting. Now, I'm going to hold you guys to the icon that you choose to get, okay? You put it in the comments down below. You better not come at me in a month and tell me that, okay, you are slacking or you're not going to get him, all right? So think wisely. Put Drogba only if you are actually going to get Drogba, because Drogba is going to cost you half your life, okay? So I hope if you guys end up getting Drogba that you plan on risking half of your life. So anyways, guys, the way that icon swaps work, I will explain to you in a second. What you guys can expect in this video today, a full-on look at the objectives, discussion of those, discussion of my thoughts on those, and then a full-on look at the icons. We're talking price points. We're talking who's the best value, best combinations, best players available, and things like that. Now, obviously, this video probably will receive some sort of, not hate, but just bias, because everybody has their own bias on what kind of cards they want to get. I'm going to give you my perspective to everybody, right? To everybody and players that can be useful to everybody, and in terms of the objectives. Now, EA got off to a flying start today because this came 2 hours late because of technical problems. Am I surprised? No. So in the future, I will be referring on my videos and streams to upcoming events as potentials, because they don't really come through when they're supposed to come through, and that is a full-on jab at EA. And these frauds, all right, we need these frauds out. Anyways, let's get into the first thing, guys. So, icon swaps online. Let's talk about it. So, right off the bat, I am loving the concept of all of this year. Gameplay content is extremely needed in FIFA. It is a necessary thing for FIFA users. There has to be gameplay content. We have to work towards stuff in the game. It gives you something to always do. Season objectives, I love it. It's going to get so much better as we go season by season. More better packs, and obviously better players. And now we've even got the dynamics for these players, which look freaking unbelievable. It's actually making me want to get that Lucas Vazquez, but we'll see who I end up going for. So, icon swaps online. Start your icon swaps journey. Complete these objectives to earn untradeable icon swaps items. So, the first one, win 9-foot champions matches. Okay, for me, this one, I'm speaking to everybody, is doable. Even if you guys are not a guy that plays a lot of FIFA, just make sure you guys set yourselves to doing 2 to 3 games a week in League. That's the reality. 2 to 3 games, or 2 to 3 wins a weekend. You got 4 weekends in the next 28 days. To clarify, the first set of swap or token kind of cards is going to be, these are going to be the first 28 days of these cards. In 28 days, according to Foot Economist, who came in my stream earlier today and told me, when the season 1 ends is when we will have when the season 1 ends is when we will be have the access, guys, to being able to obtain the next set of 12. There's a total of 24 tokens. So number 1 token, win 9-foot champions matches. This one I am okay with. Now, oh, this gets very interesting very quickly. Okay, division rivals. We are back to this concept of why are we putting these objectives into a mode that is very competitive. I understand the concept of these shouldn't be easy to get because we're talking about icons. But whether you are in Division 10, whether you are in Division 1, this is a pain to do because it is very sweaty in division rivals. It doesn't matter if you're a guy that doesn't play a lot and you're not very good at the game. You're also playing players that are on your level, and this is not easy to obtain. Now, win 3 rivals matches is enough. Then we see it, and it's using a full squad of only gold players, including the bench, with a max of 83, overall. Okay, so that one is not the worst ever. That's not the worst. It's going to be doable. But it's tough, right? It's not the easiest ever. Then we go down, and look, I kudos to EA because this is going to be a very big grind, and they're very smart because a lot of we'll talk about it in a second. I'll explain something else. So win 3 rivals matches using 7 first-owned Premier League players in your starting squad. So if you guys don't know already, a first-owned player is a player that you either pack, or, you know, you have it as a loan, or, yeah, an SBC. There's no in between. Those are all first owner players. So, in a way, EA is brilliant here because they're forcing you to either open packs, play the hell out of game modes, to get rewards or do SBCs, which is all in their favor. At the end of the day, they're making more money. So something to discuss with this is the first number one thing I would tell you guys. In the week when you're not doing anything, play some foot draft, right? Go get some rewards. Every pack you open is going to be first owner players. Squad battles is huge, and I want to explain squad battles for a second. If you guys can do your best, we still can't see the rank points yet. If you guys can do your best to get Gold 1, Gold 2 in squad battles, you guys are going to get 3 to 4 packs into the bank and some coins to go with it. These are not that hard to obtain. Just try to motivate yourself to play a little squad battles per week, and I'll explain to you why it's going to be really efficient in a second. That would be the ideal thing. The more packs you're going to get, the more things you're going to get into your club, the more first owner players. Division rivals, guys. Honestly, I know it sucks that it's got to be this way, but I think it's got to be this way. Try your best to motivate yourself, guys. Try your best. All right, try your best to motivate yourself, guys, to take untradeable rewards. I hate saying it, but I got to say, boys, the untradeable rewards is going to give you double the packs possible, and that's a big deal. Look at this. You could get 6 mega packs out of rank 2 this upcoming week in Division Rivals. That's crazy. 6 mega packs. That's a lot of packs. With the rank 3, you get 2 50K packs and 2 Electrum Players packs. Personally, I hate untradables because I want coins coming in at all times. However, when it comes to this, and if you're going to be grinding for this, it does really make sense to start taking untradables in my eyes. I think untradables is something that you should really value as you go. So, you got to win 3 rivals using 7 first-owned Premier League players in your starting squad. When I spoke to Footaconas in my stream today, he did say that you can sub out 3 players as long as they are starting in your squad. So, for example, I could have a 7 out of 11 full Premier League team, and I can sub out set 3 of the players in my starting 11 in the beginning and put in my players of my choice, right? That's something you can do. League 1, win 3 rivals matches using 7 first-owned League 1 players in your starting squad. Icon swaps 1 Hardy. That's another one. Serie A, win 3 rivals matches using 7 first-owned Serie A players in your starting squad. Win, guys. So you have to win with La Liga and Bundesliga. And right there, that is 7 tokens for the icon swap. So the first one is the easiest. Second one is relatively easy. Then it gets a lot harder because you can't just do these as you want. You have to have the players in your club. You have to have first owner players. So a lot of people are going to drop divisions for this, which is annoying. And my whole problem with this is the rivals competitive mode. This should be in potentially like a mystery ball, and you got to win more games because it's mystery ball or something like that. Now, yes, it would make it easier to boost and things like that. I just don't know if rivals is the place for that. In any other game, when you see a mode that has elo and rewards, you never really throw objectives into that mode. So really don't like the underutilization of the Foot Friendlies mode this year with these objectives. Understand that rivals does make it competitive, but I don't know if they're thinking through on this. Clearly, EA has something for rivals, man. They always throw objectives in rivals, and they continued to do it last year and did it this year. So at least I think at the end of the day, you walk away from this knowing that at least you don't have to cross and try to head the ball, because that is truly impossible to do in FIFA 20. So don't do that. But I think in general, guys, yes, this is going to be a huge grind. You're going to have to win 3, 6, 9, 12, and minimum 15 rivals games, potentially, if you're going to do that all in one. 15 at the minimum. 15 rivals wins to get all these tokens. Now, you know what? It's going to be a grind, but you're gonna get through. And I think within a full month, the grind is not terrible. The only problem is this first owner. You're gonna have to make sure that you're getting some players into the club, and it's gonna hurt you, man, because I think your goal should be that you're trying to hope to pack 4 usable players from each league, and then just 3 other players, and just sub the 3 players off in the beginning and put in the players you want. That would be, I think, the ideal scenario for any of you guys that are doing these objectives. So that's the first 7, and then we go to the second one. Now this one, honestly, guys, I don't mind the squad battles. Now, I know I say I'm always against squad battles, but there's no delay in squad battles, and I think for you guys, this is not the worst ever. Now, world-class difficulty is not the easiest for everybody, and that's what I wish it was a little bit lower, because I know for everyone, world-class is not easy. I understand that. I know some of you guys with world-class is really hard. So you've got to win 6 squad battle matches on minimum world-class difficulty using a full squad of only gold players, including the bench, using a max overall squad of 83. For the first one, win 5 squad battle matches on minimum world-class difficulty using 11 MLS players in your starting squad. Eredivisie, win 5 squad battle matches on minimum world-class difficulty using 11 Eredivisie players in your starting squad. And then CSL, win 5 squad battle matches on minimum world-class difficulty using 11 CSL players in your starting squad. So these 4 are manageable. This is going to cost you winning at least 21 games with these. But the cool part about this is that this is what I was talking about with the squad battle rewards. as you guys are doing this, you will get squad battle rewards with it. So maybe what you guys should do, space out maybe doing 2 of these per week, right? This week I'll do golden battles and MLS coming up. And that way I have 11 squad battle wins, which means I'm going to get at least gold 1 or elite 3 rewards if I'm winning at a good difficulty. That's not a bad gig to do, guys. I'm telling you, man. That's not a bad look, and it's not a bad part of the grind to add into your clubs. And then you do the next week. And then this way, what you guys are really doing is you're getting more first owner players 2 weeks in a row, or another source of first owner players coming in 2 weeks in a row. So I really think that that's a decent concept and a way to look at it, where you can get rewards while you do this. Not to mention, while you guys do these, you're also going to be getting milestones. So you'll get squad battle milestones, where I'm almost at the premium gold players pack, and then soon I'll be at the 50K pack. And then with rivals, you're getting the same thing, right? You almost have all that going. So that's cool as well. Then we scroll down and you've got the last one, which is score 20 goals with first owner players and rivals. That's not the easiest, but hopefully you guys can get that done while you're doing the other ones. That should make sense. You should get that done while you're doing the other ones. And then play 20 matches in foot using at least one first owner player in your squad, in your starting squad, which that one is kind of is what it is. I mean, in my starting 11 squad at the moment, I believe I have 0 first owner players. I could be wrong. I have purchased all of these players, which, yes, that is right. I upgraded my squad today, by the way, guys. So Adama's the only one that I haven't gotten. So we move on, guys, and then we obviously are taken to the SBC section to take a look at some of the combinations and things you guys could get. Those are the objectives. They are not going to be easy, but we will now look at the icon swaps. So we start off with Peter Schmeichel as a 6-token redeemable. Now, for me, there's not much value here. I would not be getting Peter Schmeichel. Again, the ways in which I would get these cards is if they are your favorite players, all right? I repeat myself. They should be your favorite players, guys, and that would be the reason that you may choose to select some of these players. They would have to be your all-time, this is the guy that you've always dreamed of having on your squad. So keep that in mind, guys, as you go. He is going to cost you 6 tokens. His market value is 200,000 coins. You could basically get this guy by breezing through the objectives. You could pretty much skip all the rivals if you wanted. And again, guys, there's going to be another 12 tokens, a total of 24. There's 12 available right now, exactly a month from today. So Peter Schmeichel, in my opinion, is kind of a pass. You then move on to JJ Okocha, and JJ on the market, guys. He is coming in at a rough price of 294,000 coins. He's somewhat easy to obtain. He's going to cost you about 8 tokens. Do I recommend him? He's a 4-star weak foot, 5-star skill player. Does he add to the concept of fun in FIFA? Yes, he's a fun player to use, but the 73 finishing is a little bit poor in terms of an icon, and you're also going to get hit with 70 stamina. So, look, all around, is it a fun card to skill with? And trust me, I've played against this dude in draft. He is very solid, but is it really worth it at the end of the day? I'm not sure if this one is really worth it for you guys, man. So none of the real low options are that good. But then we have Pep Guardiola, and I think Pep Guardiola is a little bit more interesting because Guardiola has a decent little card there. He's medium high. He's 5'11", which is not the best, but about 350,000 coins on the market, and it's not a bad card, so it's way better value than Okocha for the token slot. He's got 75 pace, and he's got 85 defending. It's not that bad of a card, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later because he is going to be important in this video. I'm not against Guardiola as a player at all. I think he's actually got some good value at the 8 slot, and I don't think he'll be a bad player. Also, what's pretty cool about Guardiola is that he's a newer player, so I think in a way it's cool that you guys will be able to try out a little bit newer of a player, whereas you're not going to get to try a new player in a culture Schmeichel. I mean, those guys have been around for a few years. So this is a newer card. And for the 8 value, I think he is definitely one of the better options. Now, I can't seem to understand why EA value Ryan Giggs more than Guardiola because I don't see it that way. But Ryan Giggs is going to cost you 400,000 coins on the market. For this, it will cost you about 9 tokens. Ryan Giggs is a medium 2-star weak foot lefty with 3-star skills. Do I even need to look at the in-game stats to talk about this guy? I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Giggs. I actually don't choose him in draft. No offense to him because the guy is a legend in real life. But he's just not good in FIFA. They have not made him a good card, and he's not usable. So I think for 9 tokens, you'd be wasting your time, unless he's your favorite player of all time, to go ahead and obtain. When we get to another slot at 9, I've heard some people today talk about Nesta, and I'm going to remind you one thing about Nesta without being negative, but I kind of have to be. He turns like a truck. He's a 420,000 coin player in the market, so he's somewhat expensive. 400,000 coins. He's a medium-high player, which is really good for a center back. He's 6'2". He's got 70 pace, 90 defending, 85 physical. So you've got some really nice generic center back statistics. When you look a little bit more into the card, you start to realize that 36 agility is probably just not going to cut it as a center back. I feel like the minimum for the center back agility should be and has to be 50 minimum. I think 50's just got to be the minimum that you get for a center back, guys. I think anything a little bit less than 50 is just very questionable all the time. Also not the fastest. So in my opinion, this would also fit into one of those ones where unless he's your favorite player, I would probably pass on it. I think there's some better options that you guys can go for. Now it gets interesting. Now this is at 11 tokens. Roberto Carlos is an interesting icon to discuss. I think he fits the game a lot better than he ever has because of the way of attacking fullbacks are so good in FIFA now. 500,000 coins is what you're going to have to pay for him if you bought him on the market. So we're talking a little bit more of a price range now. He's a little undersized at 5'6", but again, he's a fullback. He's got a 2-star weak foot, which is, it's okay. I mean, I use Tellez. He's got a 2-star weak foot. It's noticeable, but not all the time. The trait you want to see with Carlos is, does he favor his strong foot? If he does, that's really good. 3-star skills, again, not the best. Would like that to be 4, but you got 92 pace, 80 shooting, 81 dribbling, 81 defending, a strong link to Neymar, and a strong link to any Brazilian player. You look into the in-games, he's got 94 acceleration. He does have really good finishing for a fullback. He's got agility at 85, balance at 89. I mean, I do think the card is going to feel really solid. So 11 tokens is not a bad option for this card. It's not the best, but it's not the worst, right? So not terrible. Crespo's coming in on the market around 550K. Crespo's an 85 rated Argentinian striker with medium work rates. He's actually 6 feet tall, but he's got 4-4, which is so good. 4-4 is very good in this game, and Crespo's a really good player until the team of the year, in my opinion, even till like the late February, March era. I do always like Hernan Crespo in foot, and I don't recommend against this card. He's got 86 pace, 86 shooting, 84 dribbling with 70 physical. He's got 87 acceleration, 85 sprint speed with 90 finishing, 88 agility, 82 balance, and 88 composure. He's a player that I would recommend that you guys try out if you have the coins to buy him off the market and try him out before you unlock him if you're thinking about him. I'm not against Crespo. Crespo costs the same, I think. It costs 12 tokens to get. So I'm not really that against Crespo. I like Crespo's card in this game. I think Crespo's a good player. Basically, until we get pretty god-tier attackers, I think Crespo does the job. You have a player that's a little bit cheaper than Crespo, which is Patrick Kluivert. He's the same amount of tokens. He's coming in at 12 tokens. He's got a 4-star in terms of weak foot and skill moves. He's high-low and he's 6'2". I don't think Kluivert fits the meta as much as he has, especially last year. He's got really high jumping. He doesn't have great agility and balance for a striker. His composure is under 80. He does have over 80 finishing and over 85 acceleration and sprint speed. However, I just don't know at this rate when you look at it. I would say that I would so favor Crespo over Kluivert for the 12 tokens. I don't even think it's that close. I would 100% choose Crespo over Kluivert in that situation. So I think you guys maybe want to think about that as well. Again, if you are from the Netherlands and Kluivert's your favorite player, I will never blame you guys for doing these players that are your favorite players, right? Do your favorite. If Nesta's your favorite player, go do Nesta. I'm trying to give you guys my analysis on how these players will play and who is worth it. And at the end, we'll tally up some combinations that you guys could do. We have middle icon Klose as the next one. Klose is about the same price as Crespo and Kluivert on the market, but EA are saying he's also going to be the same amount of tokens, so he'll cost you 12 as well. Very well priced and organized from EA there. 4-star weak foot and high medium for Miroslav Klose. He's got 91 finishing and 85 acceleration. 75 agility and 70 balance isn't that good. 93 jumping. Does he fit the meta of this year? No. Is he good in this game? I think so. He's got better finishing than Kluivert. He's got about the same agility and balance, maybe a little bit less, but really nice card overall. I think this card would play well in a false 9 or a formation that you had him as that one striker. I think that is where you should be getting Miroslav Klose if you do want to get him. Would I totally recommend this card? I wouldn't, but I think it's not a bad option. Somebody that I think would play really similar to this card would be Player of the Month Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski has 4-star skills, though, so that would be the only difference, but I think those two cards are pretty similar. As we move on, we get to Michael Ballack, who has 14 tokens, and Michael Ballack on the market will cost you approximately 700,000 coins on a good day, 600K on a bad day. So give or take, we are moving up in price point a little bit. His work rates are medium high. He is 4-star, and he is 6'2". Now, my experience with Michael Ballack is that he is always a very good FIFA player. I really enjoy Ballack in FIFA. I never really have problems with him in this game. The thing about his baby card that is different than his middle and his prime is that he does really lack agility with this card. You're going to be looking at 60 agility, 68 balance, and 70 acceleration. And I think a lot of you guys, if you do choose to unlock this card, although it is good and I do like this card, I think a lot of you may move past this card around the month of January, February. So I think you guys want to use these icon swaps to think about cards that I'm going to use until at least February or March, because this grind is not going to be over until November. So you're not going to get these cards in a month from now, until a month from now. And that's what you guys have to consider as you go, that a month from now is when you guys are going to get these cards. So, and that's minimum. Some people will be the end of November and closer to December. So you want to get some cards that you use for 3 to 4 months because you want to make this grind worth it. So Ballack, it's an for me. I'm not sure. Now, Pirlo's interesting. I do think Ballack is more meta than Pirlo, but I do like Pirlo's card a lot this year. He's a really fun card. I got to use him in FUT Draft a lot in the week. He's a good card in this game. He's got really nice skills. The problem is it's kind of like, where do you play him? Now, his ideal position for me is not Cam. It's probably a right center mid or a left center mid. He's got 5-star skills and 4-star weak foot. He's a fun player. He's got decent dribbling, amazing composure, amazing passing. Try passing with this guy. It's crazy. It's very noticeable this year. And on the market, this guy's about 650, 700,000 coins for this version of Pirlo. So it's not a terrible card. Him and Ballack, I don't know, are the best options for 14. I think they're good players, but unless they're your favorites, I probably wouldn't take them. Now, Roy Keane is interesting because now we're getting into prime icon territory. This is where we're starting to really have some debates here. Roy Keane, in my opinion, was one of the best players in the game last year for like a solid month or two. He was fantastic at CDM. He got quickly replaced, but I can tell you guys that you can rely on this card to be a very solid defensive midfielder. I used him last year and I enjoyed him. He's going to cost you 15 tokens. But the card has medium-high work rates, which for a CDM, as you guys know, is quite ideal. The weak foot and skills are obviously awful. The skills are very noticeable in game, but it's a decently well-rounded card. He's got insane defensive stats, and that's what I remember about him. I remember I actually completed him, and I was using him as a sub last year off for my FUT Champions team, and he was really reliable every time I brought him in. So not a bad option. Obviously, guys, I can't give you a price point because he's not available on the market yet. So I guess there's a level of like exclusive to it where you guys could get this card and he's not actually on the market. So that's kind of cool. Rivaldo, I don't really understand why EA is saying Rivaldo's 15 tokens. Now, I guess that's the market's fault because Rivaldo on the market is 700,000 coins. So I don't know why. He's got a 2-star weak foot. He's high-low, which is good. 4-star skills. But, you know, I think with a 2-star weak foot, you just kind of look at the card. You're like, really? Am I going to use that card? 2-star weak foot is really hard to get away with. I feel like 3-star for me is always kind of the minimum with weak foot that you do want. So Rivaldo's got to be a player that you guys really enjoy if you're going to go ahead and unlock him. We move on, guys. Ian Wright's a newer card this year. I don't really know much about him, so I don't want to speak about him much. This is his prime version, I believe. So this is kind of a cool concept because his middle card is 500k on the market, but you're going to get a prime Ian Wright here, which is a cool looking card. I still think I would probably rock Crespo over this card just for the way the game plays, but he's a beast in terms of stats. He's got 92 finishing, 88 acceleration, 89 sprint speed, 83 agility with 88 composure, 87 stamina. So you've got some cool stats here. And I think if I were to use this card, I'd probably give it an engine just to make sure his agility and balance feel good. But is this a bad card? No, it's not a bad card at all. This is not a terrible card. He's going to cost you 16 tokens, which is a big grind. But you start to look at combinations that you can start to get, right? So now you're at, say you get all the tokens, which is 24. I mean, you could get Wright and Pep, which is not a bad, if you're into Ian Wright, you could grab 2 usable icons. I mean, Pep's going to be very useful in this video, and we'll talk why. So Ian Wright is at 16. Now, this is my problem with Ian Wright. Rio Ferdinand is one of the best center backs in FIFA. I can tell you right now, he's one of the top tier metas. Now, for me, this is the card that I originally thought I was going to go for. I realized that now that I know I'm not going to get these cards at least until like next month or 45 days from now, is it really worth it for me to get Rio? Because I'd be looking at a player that I want in my rotation or in my starting squad at least until team of the season. And Prime Icons come out in at least, I think, 2 to 3 months from now. So when Prime Icons come out, I know me as a person, and I'm going to go ahead right away and buy Rio Ferdinand. I already know that, and I know me, and I know how I work. I'm going right away to buy Rio Ferdinand. So would this be a really good move for me? Probably not, because I know I'm going to upgrade to Rio Ferdinand very soon after I would obtain this card. But it's an excellent card, and if you think you're not going to be able to afford his card on the market, please get this card, because Rio Ferdinand is a certified GOAT. He was in my endgame team last year. The Prime version and the Baby version, in my opinion, is better than the middle version because you get some pace. 84 pace, 84 defending, 83 physical. The guy has an insane stock in game. He's crazy in game. He just bodies people. 83 acceleration, 85 sprint speed, 60 agility, 60 balance. Not terrible for a center back. Not ideal, but not bad. 81 reactions. Okay short passing, 85 composure. Defensive stats are solid. I would give him a shadow because he doesn't really need the strength because he feels huge in game. So Rio's a really nice option. You got Rui Costa Prime card at 17 tokens. Don't really understand EA here, why Rui Costa costs more than Ian Wright Prime or Baby Ferdinand, or I don't understand EA. But this card, I think they're thinking of something of an exclusive measure to these cards. This card is not a great card in FIFA. I'm just going to warn you guys, I'm not a huge fan of this card just because of the low finishing. You don't really know where to play him. You would kind of have to play him as a center mid, and he's got awful defending stats. 75 finishing, in my opinion, just isn't good enough for a cam. So I can't tell you a price because he's not on the market, but probably would pass on that. Now we're getting into some really interesting value, and Zanetti's probably one of the ones in this video that I really want to discuss heavily. Zanetti is an endgame player this year, and Zanetti's been overlooked in previous years because of this idea of a crossing meta, whereas this year I do think Zanetti is going to be an endgame player. He's got high work rates, which is amazing for a fullback. He's 5'10" with a 4-star weak foot, which is good. He's got 86 pace, he's got 85 dribbling, he's got 90 defending and 81 physical and 88 passing. Now, let me tell you something about Zanetti. He links to, in my opinion, a top 3 player in this game. And you guys may know at this point who that is. That is Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi. This guy is so insane in this game this year that I think you guys are going to want to try to obtain this card at some point this year. So that is going to help you really hybrid if you want to hybrid out of that league. Zanetti gives him a strong link as well. So I am very interested in Zanetti. I'm going to tell you guys right now who watched this video, I am starting to really evaluate, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but Zanetti has grabbed my eye because I can tell you right now, looking at the in-game stats, he is a very good player in this game. Some of the in-game stats that we'll talk about real quick, besides the 4-star weak foot, his finishing is over 60, which is good. He's got 95 crossing, acceleration and sprint speed are okay, agility and balance are okay for a fullback, 92 ball control, 94 short passing, 88 long passing, 88 composure, 90, like the 50 jumping, right? That last year is suicide. You don't use this card last year because you're going to get dunked on at the back post. Nobody really does that this year, and the people that are doing that are still washed out FIFA 19 players. So let them do that. 92 stamina. Look, smack a shadow on this guy. Whatever you guys want to do. We've got an endgame player here, and we've got a unique player because this guy is not on the market. So that's something to consider, and that's why I'm really looking at this card, because I'm thinking with this card, am I really going to use another right back until team of the season? Maybe Trent if he gets a team of the year, but you got to be realistic with it. So Zanetti is a fantastic option this month. He's going to cost you 17 tokens, which means you could skip out on some of the rivals ones if you guys want. I like Zanetti. I think Zanetti's a really good option here, guys. I am a big fan of Zanetti this year. Last year I wasn't. My opinions have changed because of the way the meta works this year. 17, we also have Hugo Sanchez, and yes, this card had so much potential. I thought he was going to be 4-star at the beginning of the year. He's got 90 pace, 88 shooting, 88 dribbling, and 70 physical. He's got high medium work rates, 3-star kills it. And we're not going to talk about any of the in-game stats because one of the most important stats in the game, which is composure, he has 58. 58 composure this guy has. 58, I say. 58 composure. So for me, it's a pass. I wouldn't do Hugo Sanchez. It's a pass, unless he's your favorite player. Now, very clever of EA Sports to throw in a base icon pack. Let me remind you, do not think you're going to pack Pele. You are going to pack Litmanen or Yashin Baby or I don't know, Laudrup, okay? So no. Okay, 19, Butragueno. Fantastic card. Really good card this year, right? 87 rated. This is the baby variant. I am super excited to see this dude's prime this year. Very nice looking card. 5-star weak foot, 3-star skills, which is not the best. If you got a 4-star skill, this would be a full send. 5-star weak foot is exceptional. This guy is an amazing get-it-behind striker. You give this guy a hunter, he's got great stats. You got 90 pace, 86 shooting, 89 dribbling, 64 physical, 75 passing, 90 acceleration, 90 sprint speed, 91 finishing, 90 attack positioning, 88 agility, 87 balance, 87 reactions, 89 ball control, and 89 dribbling with 85 composure. I rate this card a lot. He's 900,000 coins on the market. That's going to cost you 19. I'm starting to really enjoy this card as well. I think this guy is a really good option. If you like Butragueno, I would go for it. Next up, we've got Steven Gerrard. Now, Steven Gerrard is interesting because this is arguably Steven Gerrard's most meta version of his cards. He's 920,000 coins on the market at the moment. He's got high work rates. He's 6 feet. 3-star, not the best, but high is very good for a center mid. A great box-to-box midfielder this year. Don't really mind anybody who wants to complete this one. I like his value. I think it's a very decent option. He costs the same as Butragueno, so you have to figure out what do you want more in your team. Are you looking for an attacker? Are you looking for a midfielder? And I think that's how you come to the decision of which one you're going to complete. But Stevie G, I don't think we're being let down by Stevie G. Very good option. We move on to 20, which is really interesting that they included 2 prime icons. We have Haji and Michael Owen, which to me is like just interesting because I don't really rate Haji and Michael Owen over a lot of the icons that we've already talked about tonight. But I understand that EA is trying to keep it exclusive. Haji's got a cool card, 4-star, 4-star, but I don't know if I'm in love with it. He does have really nice stats, but Haji's a player that you have to get along with and like to go and complete this. At 20 for the unlock, I think there's some better value that you can get instead of Haji. Is it a bad card? No, it's not a bad card by any means. I actually enjoy the card, but I think there's some better cards that you guys can go ahead and obtain rather than Haji. So I think you can do some better things there. Michael Owen's got a nice card. He's 4-star weak foot. He's 90 pace, 89 shooting, 88 dribbling, and this guy is not on the market as well. 94 finishing, 91 acceleration, 86 agility, 85 balance. 20 tokens. It's a lot of tokens, man. It's a lot of the tokens to go and get for Owen. So these 2 guys got to be people that you really want to get because I'm not going to sit here and say that they're top tier meta because they're not. Didier Drogba. I think this guy's forever a legend. Used to be one of my favorite players to watch. He is 1.6 million coins on the market. This is his middle version. This is the full grind. This is every token except 1 token that you would pay for this one. High work rates, 4-star, 4-star, 6'2". Does he fit the absolute meta this year? No. Is he still really good in this game? Yes, he's amazing. He's going to be a sick player. He's got 93 finishing, 85 acceleration, 85 composure. Agility balance would mean that you have to slap an engine on this card 100%. And the heading's going to be fantastic. He'll probably score almost everything in a heading game that doesn't work. But I think he'll be a lethal finisher for your squad. Drogba's a player that you have to really want to get this card to do all 23. Looking at the objectives, you have to want to get this card bad. So, I mean, that's something that you guys got to consider as you guys do this. You got to really have to want this card if you guys are going to go ahead and do this SBC. So this is every token except 1. So now this makes for my opinions and a discussion about some of the better things you can do this month. My first thing to you guys and my number 1 combination with today would be 100,000% Rio Ferdinand for 16 tokens out of the 24 and Pep Guardiola for 8 tokens out of the 24. That makes it obviously 24 tokens, and you get 2 icons that are usable. Rio Ferdinand is a starter, and whether you want to start Pep or you don't want to start Pep, he does have the good statistics to be a medium high, or is a medium high for a defensive midfielder, and also he is your only good option down here. You could take JJ for the fun aspect, but I would take Pep Guardiola. Not a bad super sub for the squad, and I think Rio is really good. Another combination that I think is pretty unique is this Carlos and Crespo combination. You get 2 baby icons that are both really solid. Carlos is a nice fullback, and I think both these guys are going to be starters at least until February or March. So if you get them in November, you're looking at about 3 or 4 months of value. Both these guys are really, really solid players, so that's not a bad combination. As we move on a little bit further into it, you could do like a Roy Keane. You could do like a Roy Keane with a Pep if you wanted as well. You could also add a token because you got the 9, and if you really wanted with the 9, you guys could obviously go get Nesta. But I'm not in love with Nesta or Giggs. Something else to keep in mind as well. Just straight up looking at potentially the players that I would potentially just straight up look at getting is Zanetti. And with Zanetti, if you do all the tokens, what you can actually get with Zanetti, if you get the 17 tokens, he's an endgame player in my opinion. You guys can actually unlock that Schmeichel, so you have a base icon in your club. So when EA does drop the base icon SBC over winter or in the spring, you actually have that extra card just to submit right away. Because with Schmeichel, when you put him in a base icon pack, you already know or an icon repeatable, you already know that you're gonna get something better than Schmeichel. There's really not much worse than Schmeichel. No offense to him as a pack. As well as Zanetti, who is one of my favorite choices out of what you guys can do, because he's an endgame player. He's literally a player you could use in July, and he's endgame. Butragueno, I really like Butragueno. I think he's a player that, for me, I'm considering, because he'll start for me for a little while, and then he'll definitely be on my bench until at least team of the season. He'll be a go-to super sub. Stevie G is a really good option as well. Stevie G's got a really nice card, and I think this is one of his better versions. And then I think you got to look at it like Drogba's the big boy. If you guys really want to go for Drogba, you got to do all 23 out of 24. For me, at this point in time, I am considering doing Zanetti. And if I really feel like I'm going to grind, I will do the leftover and get the Schmeichel. I think the ideal one, if you're going to do all 24, is going to get Rio and Pep, Crespo and Carlos, or Zanetti and Schmeichel. That would be like the best ones. Don't risk it on the base icon. And you guys just have to evaluate it. How bad do you want it, right? How bad or are you going to go through and do this stuff? My best tip to you guys with this month is space out things and set them as like chores, right? FIFA shouldn't be a chore to play, but these objectives at times are going to be chores. Make sure you guys are saying, hey, I'm doing this these next 2 days. You guys have about 30 days in terms of like before it all adds up on you, because these will still be available in 30 days, but you want to get them done before 30 days so you have a new grind to go to. So maybe, you know, you've got 12 tokens to earn. Maybe make sure you're doing a token every 2 or 3 days, right? That way it keeps you on point. And for me, I'm going to not do as many of the Rivals ones until I get some more draft packs, so some more first owner players, some more reward sets. Just be more aware of the reward sets, guys. Don't discard as many players because you may need them. And again, you could sub the 3 off. Again, guys, let me know what you guys are going for in the comments. Hopefully this helped you guys tonight understand who are the best players, the good combinations. That's my thoughts on it. I'm kind of excited for this. Don't love the Division Rivals aspect to it, but I am excited to get underway with a gameplay grind, and it should be pretty fun. Good luck in Foot Champions tonight, guys. Good luck with all the grinding if you guys are already grinding this stuff. I love you guys, man. Take care. Peace out.